because I absolutely haven't watched enough silent films in the month of October. I watched a couple more. These ones were on Filmstruck. This was, and they're both Swedish too. I watched a bunch of Swedish silent films when I was at Pordenone, and I've seen many in the past, and I have yet to see a silent Swedish film that I did not love. So, I keep watching them. They keep being good. So this one was 1921's The Phantom Carriage, directed by Victor Sjöström. He also starred in it. And it's based on a Nobel Prize-winning novel. No, it's based on a novel from a Nobel Prize-winning author, Selma Lagerlöf. The novel was called Thy Soul Shall Bear Witness! Exclamation point. This one is, it's set on New Year's Eve, and a woman is dying, and she asks to see a man, and then you cut to the man, and he is telling a story about a story, and it goes through several, like, Inception-esque flashbacks. Legend has it that if you are the first, or if you die on New Year's Eve, you become the new carriage man for death. So the man that the Salvation Army sister wants to see is about to die. He heard the story about being Death's carriage master from another man who died on the previous New Year's Eve. They meet each other, and sort of in a almost Christmas story, Christmas tale, what am I thinking of? Christmas Carol sort of way. The first man, who was the previous year's carriage man, is telling the new carriage man sort of, hey, you're kind of a dick. Here, I'm going to show you all the ways in which you were an awful person. And as it goes, you see the things that he did that were terrible, the people that he's hurt, his wife, etc. But also you see the hope that the Salvation Army sister has for him, and her unwavering thought that he can be redeemed and that he can be a good person. And the film is sort of mixing horror and ghost stories with the idea of religious redemption. And a lot of these Swedish films have that overwhelming religious tone to them, and almost all of them end with someone getting some sort of redemption. Whether they die or not, they get a redemption. And in this case, spoiler alert, he does not die, and he gets redemption even though he gave his wife tuberculosis, and she's probably going to die. But his kids will be fine. Technically, I think this is a masterpiece. It's so beautifully made, and it uses techniques that are so advanced for 1922, and a lot of double exposure and all kinds of just wonderful things. It's beautiful. Story-wise, I was like, just let him die, man. Just let him die. So the story didn't get me, but the filmmaking was gorgeous. The next film I watched, I loved everything about, and this was 1922's Häxan, written and directed by Benjamin Christensen. This is a pseudo-documentary horror film about the history of witchcraft, and it draws a line from medieval witchcraft lore to mental illness in the turn of the century, and how probably most of the people that were considered witches, etc., just had mental disorders. But he also looks at various torture techniques and recreates myths about the devil and myths about witches, and shows witch hunts, and shows the way the church was really terrible towards people they thought were witches, and all kinds of just crazy stuff. And it's like recreations of the devil and torture scenes and like crazy nuns and pretty much anything you would want in a movie about witches is there. It's in this movie, and it's just beautifully shot, and the recreations are wonderful, and some of it is hilarious, and some of it is terrifying, and it's just a very unique, wonderful film from 1922, also from Sweden. This is Swedish and Danish, I guess. So I recommend both these films. Häxan and the Phantom Carriage are available on Filmstruck right now. You can also get them on DVD from the Criterion Collection, and they are great. It's October, so it's time to watch horror movies. If you can only watch one of them, though, I would recommend Häxan above the other. It's just so freaking good. So, Swedish silent films. Check them all out. Follow me on Twitter, and I can give you more suggestions of other Swedish silent films to find because they're all so good.